This module is going to be on salesmanship and advertising. Selling advertising is really the secret sauce to the success of your franchise. Now, I'm not saying that selling ads is easy, but ad sales are everywhere. All you have to do is look around you. For some of you, selling ads will be easy, as you may have tons of relationships in place. Or it may be your current expertise. For others, selling advertising is going to be a challenge, and therefore you could use some suggestions. One of the most important things for you to do is to develop a sales and marketing process. Whether you're fully experienced or not, you need to have a process in place. If you don't have a sales and marketing process in place, you need to adopt one. I can't overemphasize how critical this is to your success. So if you're not in the business, or you feel you don't have an excellent process already in place, then I would suggest adopting the Big 50 plan. Ryan Doan is the author of Selling Backwards, as well as his online training program called 360adsales.com. By the way, we have this course available to you on our website, and it's free to all of our franchisees. And by the way, you don't have to take our advice. This is just a suggestion, but a rather strong one. We find that the best salespeople are continually sharpening their saw. They're always looking for ways to improve themselves, as even the slightest improvement can have major impact on their success. I would encourage you to go through the Selling Backwards sales course that we have online. It's approximately 20 modules long, and each module is about 45 minutes to an hour long. So unless you have a better process, I would suggest you use the Big 50 prospecting plan. You can always adapt it to your own situation. So let's start out with what is a good prospect. I would suggest that they need at least 3 of the following qualities. You need to be active in the advertising market and show signs of a need for advertising. They need to have an ad budget or have advertised in the past. Ideally, they would have a marketing director, but some of your smaller businesses won't have that. They wish to avoid the hard sale, and there's research available on the prospect. What you'll first want to do is add your business prospect to your contact management system. Each one of your prospects should get touched every 3 days, whether it's a phone call or an email or a letter. If you're going to leave a voicemail, do so with relevant ideas or stories or tidbits, and no more than 3 sentences. That's max. You want to repeat this for 30 days, and when you eventually set an appointment meeting, then they get moved to in process on your CMS. Generally, the best time to prospect will depend on the type of business. Typically, that'll be between 11:30 and 4:30 p.m. However, for a restaurant, those times are going to be different. With your emails and messages, you want it to be very relevant. Mention quick success stories or ideas. Promise not to waste their time. Keep it short, 3 sentences max. For additional information, you can refer to pages 52 to 57 in Selling Backwards. There's 7 phases in every sales call. It starts out with understanding the roadblocks. You open up the meeting with relevant information about the client or about the company. You mention success stories to reduce their risk. Ask great questions to better understand the client. Offer suggestions and solutions only after you understand their needs, goals, and desires. Offer to provide them an on-site proposal by using one-sheet proposals and pricing grids, and then set a time for the next steps. Typically in an advertiser's mind, there's 5 questions. What will this ad do for me? What will this salesperson do for me? What should I feature in my ad? Will this ad make me look good? What do I think of the idea or the reward that this ad will bring me? There's probably 10 critical questions that you could ask your client. If we could create the perfect ad for you, what would it look like? And what would you want to happen from that ad? How many times do you feel a new customer of yours needs to see your advertising before they become a customer? How much would the perfect marketing plan cost you? Are you planning any new products or services or opening any new locations in the next 6 months? Do you have a system in place to track your advertising? What ads have worked for you in the past and why? And what kind of ads didn't work and why? How does your social media play a role in your advertising? What can I do as a salesperson to make you happy? Who do you feel does a great job of marketing in your local market, in your industry? Tell me how your website plays a role in your marketing. During the sales presentation, you want to make the meeting memorable. Be sure that they feel that you're listening to them. Offer solutions based on what you've learned. Use strong visuals to get your points across. Provide simple and easy to understand points. Provide them with sales material to help their decision process. There's basically 3 leave-behinds. One's going to be a data sheet. It's a one-sheet media kit. You will also want to leave them with an at-a-glance offering sheet as well as a pricing grid. These are all things that we have put together for you. Here's 8 tips for getting the deal signed. During your appointment, set up a time for your follow-up appointment for your next sales call. Create a follow-up pattern and use a sales closing process. Give your client the opportunity to say no, and do not negotiate the price against yourself. You've got to be bold, but you don't need to be brash. And ideally, you would use an electronic signature tool to get the agreement and proposal signed. We have this technology available to you. All you need is an iPad or some type of tablet. And keep in mind that there are always other ways to get a meeting, even if your advertiser goes completely dead. Let's talk about overcoming objections. Typical objection is, I don't have any money. So your response might be, well, does that mean you don't have any money for me? Or you simply don't have any budget at all? Follow with success stories and then ask, if money were not an issue, do you like the idea? If yes, then what would the ad need to cost to make a deal happen? Let's look at another objection. But my budget is allocated already. Perhaps your response. I see you're advertising in, and then name whatever that is. How's that ad working out for you? Then be brave and say, if you would be so kind, please tell me why the 100,000 viewers on our screens are not that important to you. Ryan Dorn, the author of Selling Backwards, has trained thousands of media salespeople, and he typically finds the following. Most salespeople give up after only 3 or 4 attempts, even if it's by email. Yet he often finds that success takes 8 or more attempts to make the sale. So don't give up. Learn how to follow up and be persistent without being a pest. Pig-headed determination. So let's talk about retention. It's one thing to get an order, however, it's critical to keep that customer. Retention will save you lots of time as well as lots of money. So a good retention process will have both monthly, quarterly, and annual initiatives all blended into it. I would suggest that you refer to page 157 of Selling Backwards to get some ideas. I think one of the best pieces of advice that I can give you is to continue to sharpen your saw. There are lots of books and courses out there. In fact, we have a list of suggested reading inside your guidebook. Best of luck to you.